Okay, I think we are going to proceed with the meeting today. First of all, let me welcome everybody once more. Welcome to 2023. Happy New Year to everyone. We well, we started out this meetings as weekly in the wake of the Afghan arrivals, and we're now in the second year of having this engagement. I hope they continue to be valuable to everyone here, because it puts us all on the same page with how we are working. So our agenda today, is going to cover resettlement update and our projections for 2023. We'll talk a little bit about progress with the Afghan support program. It happens to be Anti-Trafficking month, so we're going to have Anna Foster from our team here talk a little bit about that. And of course, the usual community updates that we have and opportunities for engagement. But before we go into the agenda, let me just, again, always start by reiterating our gratitude to everyone, whether you're on the staff of the International Institute, you're a partner, or just a community stakeholder. Our work has been made possible as a result of the community coming together. And so we cannot ever overemphasize that gratitude. In the last year, we saw an evolution in arrivals to St. Louis, that more than just the Afghan and Ukrainians, we are beginning to see a significant increase in people coming from diverse countries. And we're hopeful that that's an indication that the current administration has been able to start to rebuild the pipeline for refugees to be processed outside the country and into the United States. So we're looking to be very active in the next year. But even more than that, we wrote out a vision for how we see the future of the International Institute in the St. Louis community last year, and we're going to be actively working with community stakeholders to see how we can implement that vision. We have several conversations going on about a significant challenge that we continue to face as a community around housing, and how the team is working creatively to increase our options of housing, because every time we get a stock of housing, it quickly gets depleted by arrival. So we're constantly working to identify new opportunities, and I don't think we're ever going to get enough until we're able to do something that is different or radically different. And hopefully having some kind of housing initiative going may be one of the solutions. It may not solve all our housing problems in this community, but it could be part of it. And so we're seriously thinking and working towards that in the next few years. We are also thrilled this year to begin the Anna E. Crossley Multicultural Center of Excellence, which is now really working actively to promote itself, develop programs, and begin its promotion and engage people who would like to become individuals, corporations, and organizations that would want to partner with the center. So that's ongoing as well. We are equally looking forward to a very exciting Festival of Nations this year, and we're beginning to work actively towards developing the attributes for the collateral, for the Festival of Nations that's going to be promoted shortly. We're hoping to mobilize stakeholders in the community to support the Festival of Nations. It's really going to focus on being as inclusive as possible and creating opportunities for the various communities that are here to participate, and not just and not just walk through the festival, but we really want to showcase all the communities that are, as many, maybe not all, but as many of the communities we want to feel their presence in the Festival of Nations this year. With that said, there are one other exciting aspect of our work at the International Institute is that we have started we're starting our advocacy program this year. We now have a department for talent development and advocacy. And our advocacy is going to include our immigration department, immigration, which is something of great need at this time, especially, with everything that's happening in Congress. But I'm going to allow Blake talk a little bit. First of all, I want to thank everybody for the last-ditch effort that we made as a community to try to have the government, the Congress pass the Afghan Adjustment Act. Now, we didn't succeed. And so that has great implications in this community. And I'm going to turn this over to Blake to talk a little bit about advocacy efforts, but also some developments that are going on in terms of immigration and how we as a community can be involved. So Blake is the Vice President here for Talent Development and Advocacy. Blake.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Ray. Just briefly, regarding the Afghan Adjustment Act, of course, the aim was to have the act included in the omnibus spending bill, which was passed late in December. However, it was not included as a part of that bill. And as that session of Congress has expired, the bill will need to be reintroduced in Congress during this current session in order to be heard. And the prospects of that are low, considering the voting records of the members of Congress that will have to be sponsors in order for it to be passed through. However, there is some optimism, but that really puts the Congress on a clock. The bill must be passed in the next several months in order for us to have any hope of a clear set of rules and guidelines to be followed ahead of next fall, when many of the arriving Afghans will see their parole status expire. So, right now there isn't a ton of coherent advocacy by our national partners around this topic, as they're still trying to get settled in understanding where many of the new members of Congress sit on this particular topic and devise a strategy then around that. But I can tell you that in the coming weeks, you're sure to see more information about a revived push on the Afghan Adjustment Act, and would ask you to stay tuned to this space for more information as we get that and understand the pieces of advocacy that are taking place. We can sort of direct how we might be able to engage with that, and of course provide that information to all of our partners. I did also want to mention some news that emerged over the last couple of weeks since we last met regarding shifting policies at the southern border. Of course, you've heard that Title 42, which had restricted entry into the United States based off of national health concerns, is likely to be rescinded, and a set of policies or revisions to policy had been proposed by the Biden administration to mitigate the impending challenges of the repeal of Title 42. And fundamentally, the proposed changes are tantamount to really a minimizing of the asylum process and a corruption of the initial values of the establishment of that process. However, there are additional relief measures that have been proposed, including the establishment of humanitarian parole for folks from Nicaragua, Haiti, and Cuba. At present, folks from Venezuela are able to apply for humanitarian parole. And when we talk about parole, in this case, in the recent past, we have two cases we can draw back on knowledge for, and that is the Afghan case and the Ukrainian case. In this case, the humanitarian parole that is being offered is much more similar to the Ukraine case than the Afghan case. This would be a short-term parole, which would allow folks, 30,000 individuals per month from Venezuela, Nicaragua, Haiti, and Cuba, to be admitted under this status. Now, that would provide 2 years of legal status to be entered into the United States, and 2 years of work authorization as well. 30,000 a month is a good number, and this is of course meant to incentivize folks from these countries to not approach the southern border, but in fact apply for parole in their country of origin. That is the intent of this. This is, as it stands, folks who are admitted under this parole will not, as it differs from the Ukrainian situation, these folks will not be eligible for federal programs or benefits. Ukrainians who are arriving now are eligible to enroll in specific OR programs designed for them, or take part in other programs such as matching grants to support employment. At present, there are no rule changes to those programs that allow these folks on parole to be served by those programs. The details are still emerging, and we do expect there to be more changes to this, more updates to this as it materializes and people begin to go through this process in larger numbers. So again, we hope that you stay tuned to this space for more updates as more information about this expanding program and how we in our region might be able to serve these individuals can come to light. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Blake, with reference to that. Whilst we are still hoping that the Afghan Adjustment Act is rekindled, in the meantime, I know that we have our regional immigration task force our partners working through the asylum clinics to process asylum claims for our Afghan arrivals here. To that extent, we may also eventually run into a similar challenge with the Ukrainians further down the road, 1 year down the road. But hopefully that too is addressed. And, these are some of the reasons why we as an agency also have to actively advocate for our clients, because it creates a lot of uncertainty for them trying to move on with their lives, and that uncertainty has an impact as well on in our community. So we'll be looking out and updating you all on developments like this, because it's important for you all to be empowered with the information and also play a role in helping advocate for the kind of policies that will be more welcoming for the people who come here, and give them an opportunity to see this place, this community as home, or America as a whole. At this point, we're going to go on to item 2 on our agenda, which is our resettlement updates, and I'm going to invite our Vice President here for Client Care, who is Ariel, to talk about our resettlement updates.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. As you've most probably gleaned a bit from the conversations with RA and Blake, refugee resettlement is slowly, very slowly, going through some changes in how resettlement is being delivered. You have what we call the traditional routine refugee resettlement, and then you also have either currently today, either Ukrainian or Afghan parolees who are eligible for varying parts of routine refugee resettlement. I think that, in the next couple of years, if not sooner, refugee resettlement as we know it might be a hybrid of those two components. Here in St. Louis, we are we worked very hard recently and even previously to have a very robust volunteer component, whether that was groups of individuals or individuals to assist us in resettling refugees. So I just wanted to kind of give that little bit of an overview of where refugee resettlement might look like in the future. For current, right now, you can see the numbers here for our 2022 arrivals. We do have categories of refugees. So we have 290 refugee arrivals, and that's through the typical refugee resettlement program. And then we also had Afghan parolees who were either approved upon arrival or had to be approved upon arrival for refugee resettlement services. We have Ukrainian walk-ins, Cuban and Haitian walk-ins, and of course, Afghan walk-ins. And then what we call secondary migrants, or individuals who came to St. Louis after having been in another location previously come to St. Louis. All in all, it's been a busy year, and we like to be busy. I do want to highlight that we in St. Louis have traditionally always had a very diverse refugee program. So even though we see Afghan Ukrainians and others on this slide, our refugee program includes Congolese, Syrians, Iraqis, and in about 2 weeks, a Bhutanese will be arriving after we have not seen Bhutanese in a couple of years. So we have a very diverse program, and we want to keep it that way. For those of you who remember the previous administration's pretty much lockdown on refugee resettlement, agencies that focused on one population of refugees were not able to survive. Because we have a diverse population, we're able to keep going through lean years. So having said that, I will tell you that in addition to the refugees that we have scheduled, we are anticipating that up to, and the number keeps changing, but up to about 350 Afghans in Albania will most probably be coming to St. Louis sometime this year. There's a horrible rumor that they might all come 100 at a time, or they might come 10 or 20 at a time. However, I want you to know, everybody on this call, that the resettlement team and the International Institute is ready to resettle not only these 300 additional Afghans, but also any other refugee that is sponsored and scheduled to come to St. Louis. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Ariel. I'm sure that there may be questions with reference to settlement. So we will come to the question and answer session, but anyone with questions, please just record your question in the chat so that we can pick it up when we come to our Q&A, just so that you don't forget. But we will have time for questions. Let's go on to just give an update on the Afghan Community Support Program. I'm going to turn this over to Moji.
Hi guys, happy Wednesday everyone. Tons of updates with the Afghan Community Support Program. We are hosting an invite event to introduce the Afghan Community Center space and the United States Afghan Chamber of Commerce. That event is going to take place on February 10th at 11 a.m. So invites are on their way, and all of our community coalition partners, stakeholders, supporters, and media partners are going to be there. There will be a Afghan traditional style brunch served, and leading up to that, since we have already signed a 3-year lease on the Afghan Community Center space, we've already begun activities in the space. We've got a committee of Afghan members who are working to decorate it and paint and bring Afghan paintings and decorations to create an atmosphere and energy in that space. We'll have a group of women tomorrow and next week and the following come in so that we can start creating activities as to what the women want to see and what can we do to cater to the kids. How early can we start Pashto and Farsi classes, some like cultural orientation classes. And Juanita is doing a great job as far as getting the United States Afghan Chamber of Commerce established as a entity and building a board of directors so that we can get the chamber off and running. Also, we have the Afghan Entrepreneurship Grant Round 2 applications open right now. Round 1, we had a winner. His name is Raza Hassani. He runs an auto repair shop off of Bates and Grant. And so this round, we want to push more women to apply, and hopefully we get a couple of women to win a grant. There's 9 grants at $15,000 each left. The third cohort for the Claim Academy coding classes are about to go live. Applications are about to go live. Next week, we have 5 scholarships left. There was a total of 10 scholarships worth $15,000 each. And we have 5 graduates. One of the graduates is actually a trainer now, hired as a trainer at Claim Academy. So we're happy about that. And that wraps it up for the Afghan Support Program. Really, the launch is the big event that we're working to host and make a splash in the media so other people can hear about it. We've had a pretty large number, over 100 people, last I checked, of secondary migrants who have chose, Afghan secondary migrants who have chose by whether they heard about it in the news or they heard from someone who lives here that St. Louis is a great city, and embracing Afghans and establishing different things for Afghans to be able to thrive. And so we continue on the mission of the Afghan Support Program. The program is a 2-year grant. We just completed the first year. We are entering the second year. So all the energy to continue the foundations and continue to build the momentum for the Afghan community and the St. Louis community at large. If anyone has any questions, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Moji. We will be happy to take questions when we get to the Q&A section. But like I said, anyone with a quick question, or you can also put that in the chat, and we'll take that up. The Afghan community support, we're thrilled to see that there's a movement of Afghans from other parts of the country. Up to 109 that we have identified, about 40 cases that have moved into the region based on our verification this morning. So there is a movement of Afghans who are moving from other parts of the country to St. Louis. And we hope that with the launch of the Afghan Community Center, as well as the Afghan Chamber of Commerce, that's only just going to be a bigger draw. We're also working to ensure that we have an Afghan newspaper out by the end of the month that will be serve as a way for us to communicate to Afghans across the United States and the world, for that matter, about what we're doing in St. Louis and why they must see St. Louis as a place where they can move to. We will keep you updated with progress on that. At this point, I'm going to turn this over to our, like I said at the beginning, this is our, this month is Anti-Trafficking Month, and our social work team has been educating us and promoting awareness. And we thought that it was really important for us to have this conversation with this wider group, as we all can have a role to play in this community with reference to that. So I know Sam is here and Anna. So I'm not sure who is going first.
I'll
Sam.
go ahead and kick us off.
Okay, Sam.
So our anti-trafficking in persons program has been around since 2006, and we've been providing intensive case management services to victims of both labor and sex trafficking. We serve all potential or identified victims, either they can be US born, foreign born, regardless of immigration status, age, gender, sexual orientation, all within the Eastern District of Missouri. Currently, we're working to expand our services because we secured more funding, specifically throughout almost the entirety of Missouri for foreign-born individuals who've experienced labor trafficking. Another big component of our new funding source is to expand public awareness of what labor trafficking is and what it looks like, because it's one of the, how do I say this? It is also a huge component under the trafficking umbrella, and it's often overlooked because of sex trafficking having so much awareness, and labor trafficking just kind of falling by the wayside. So in our work with our clients, we provide client-centered trauma-informed services through a lens of a human rights-based approach. Our clients have had all their rights violated, and that's what's at the root of trafficking, right? So the services we provide include intensive case management, screening, crisis intervention, our safety planning, and we can provide some short-term financial assistance to our victims. In order to ensure that our clients have their needs met, we are able to collaborate with law enforcement, legal service providers, prosecutors, whatever our victims need to make sure that their needs are met. Another fun part of the ATIP program is that we co-facilitate the Eastern District of Missouri Human Trafficking Task Force, along with St. Louis County Police Department and the U.S. Attorney's Office. And this is where I'll hand it off to Anna.
Yes, so the task force is funded by the, oh, I'm so sorry, Ray, did you need to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So the task force is funded by the Department of Justice to prevent and respond to human trafficking in the Eastern Federal District of Missouri. So that's the 49 eastmost counties of the state of Missouri. And with it being January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, we're very excited to be hosting a gift card drive. So as individuals are leaving their trafficking situations, many need support in meeting their basic needs. So this means connecting them to housing, food, medical and mental health care, immigration and criminal relief options, and so much more. So through Visa gift cards, clients of the ATIP program can pay for their own food, medical appointments, clothes, etc. And truly, they are the most versatile means of supporting victims of trafficking. As Sam said earlier, victims of trafficking have lost all of their rights at the hands of their trafficker. Their autonomy, self-determination, ability to make choice has been taken away from them. And in providing income assistance through Visa gift cards, we are able to rebuild that person's financial rights, allowing them to make the choices in the food that they want to buy, clothes that they want to wear, kind of, etc. And so allowing Visa gift cards, while it's a small thing, it does allow them a lot of freedom that a lot of us have taken for granted. I'm going to put my information in the chat if anyone has any questions about human trafficking. I'd be happy to talk to you about our program, the clients that we serve, and our work with our partners.
Thank you very much, Anna and Sam, for sharing with that. How can people who are online now follow you? Because I know that you've been sharing some valuable information, creating awareness. How can people share some of that information?
Thank you for the social media plug, Ray. So you can actually follow us online, both on Facebook and on Instagram at Stop Trafficking Mo. I'll also put our website in there. Throughout the entire month, we're going to be sharing a lot of different information, specifically about the common misconceptions about human trafficking. Many people, when they think of trafficking, unfortunately, they think of the movie Taken. And while it's a very entertaining movie, it definitely depicts and perpetuates very false narratives about trafficking. One of them would just be like how diverse the trafficking victim population can be. Our program at the Institute, so in its entirety since 2006. The oldest person that we've served in our program was 72 years old, and they were trafficked as a home health aide by a family member. So they were a live-in nurse for a family member. The youngest person that we know about, not ones that we serve directly, but that our law enforcement partners identified to us, was 3 months old. I can also tell you that it is a pretty good split between men and women who are being trafficked, and also foreign citizens or foreign nationals, excuse me, and US born citizens. A lot of the narratives that we might hear about trafficking are, while maybe good intentioned, are incorrect. And so on social media this month, we're going to be talking about a lot of that. And again, I'd be happy to answer any questions, both in the chat or at the end of this call, or if you would ever just want to reach out to me.
Great, thank you very much for that. That's very enlightening. Really appreciate your work and the level of awareness that you're creating this month. I hope that it really changes the way people see this, and people see themselves also being able to play a role and being aware of what's happening around us in our communities, which sometimes we overlook because we don't have a better sense of what's going on. So thank you. This has been enlightening for me in particular, and I'm hoping that for everyone that's going to be following you this month as you continue to share some thoughts on this. We're going to go on next on our agenda to go to our community shout outs, and at this point I will turn this over to Carlos Suarez.
Thanks, Ari, and great to see everyone again this afternoon. Just wanted to highlight some momentum within the community and support, and thank everyone for the support, especially in the last month. We did highlight, we did have a visit by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints last month from leadership within their organization, and which led to a lot of support that's going directly to new arrivals, especially towards furniture and larger household items to just add that additional housing infrastructure for our new arrivals through refugee resettlement. In addition, that I also included a credit to a storehouse for food commodity items that we're able to provide for our arrivals as well. So this was a really nice contribution from the church, and we're very thankful for the visit and looking forward to expanding that collaboration, partnership, and relationship into the future. As many of you know, we held a winter donation drive at the end of the month on December 28th. And really just want to thank everyone who participated. We had more than 200 items that were either collected on site or via our Target and Walmart wish lists. So it was a great success for adding inventory to our household items here at the Institute as well for apartment setups as we're preparing housing for new arrivals as they come through. And you can see our box truck in the background that actually that day where we had an arrival of a family of 9 and also a family of 2 that were doing the setup right alongside the donation drive. So a lot of exciting movement happening, and just want to say thank you to the community members that contributed and that continue to contribute, because these needs are ongoing, especially as we're looking for the arrivals that we're having throughout the course of this calendar year. For those that are looking to get more involved with the work of the International Institute, we are hosting a volunteer orientation this coming Wednesday or next Wednesday, January 18th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. here at the International Institute. For one, it's a great way of learning more about the work of the Institute. We're going to bring in some colleagues that are in different departments and can share some of their specific work, how to get involved in different volunteer opportunities that we offer here at the Institute, and the needs that we have on an ongoing basis. And then also how individuals, for those that want to get involved in supporting or working alongside a family, how they can support clients and arrivals that are coming to St. Louis in this region, and fostering that integration here in the community. So hope to see some great faces there. We do have the registration link at the QR code that can be seen on the flyer, and we'll be sure to send more information out about that as well. And other upcoming opportunities for volunteering that are on a regular basis, our mock interviews for job interview workshop, cultural orientation, babysitting. Can use some babysitters that are taking place alongside our cultural orientations that take place for families as they're arriving. Collaborating on our bus buddy program for showcasing, highlighting the public transportation assets and resources that we have here in the region, and then also apartment setups and grocery shopping as needed. So those are listed on our website /volunteer that can be seen. And all these items, as we had this donation drive, we're still in need of items here that are supporting new arrivals. So from laundry detergent to stock pots and razors, and then also, of course, grocery gift cards, always needed to Aldi and Schnucks and our towel fund, which goes to support emergency needs for our refugees and new arrivals here in St. Louis. And all these items can also be found on our wish list at donate-items from our Institute website. And of course, just finding more information about volunteering, youth programming, and connecting with John Worth about specific program opportunities, especially from companies and organizations that want to volunteer here at the Institute. And you can go check us out at the International Institute /volunteer and /donate to provide additional support and get more involved.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Carlos, and everyone for the update. I would pause here at this time to see if there are any questions that anyone has with reference to all of the information that has been shared here today. Any questions? I know Betsy had a question which I answered, and her question was really whether we had any thoughts about the delays that we're seeing with reference to the Albanian arrivals, and I replied that we believe it's really just processing and vetting. Normally, these things take time. I know with the case of the Afghan arrivals, that was an exceptional case, but normally the processing outside the country does normally take some time, and we were made to understand that they were building that infrastructure to start that processing. However, where there have been need for prompt action, they have made some exceptions to have families that needed to come in. So I think there's attention being paid to it, but it's normally just taking the course of time, the normal course of business, so to speak. I want to make sure that I've not missed out on any questions. If anyone on the team sees that, there is a question here. Please expand on cultural orientation for babysitting. Carlos, you want to take that?
I can take that. So we have cultural orientations set up here at the Institute for our clients as they're coming, as they're being settled. And so we're in need of babysitters that are here at the Institute during specific times and dates and shifts. So when the families are in that cultural orientation, the kids that are here as well will need someone to help with babysitting, so the families can be in attention to that cultural orientation session. So we have a room that's set up here where we're in need of babysitters for that time period, and all those shifts and opportunities can be found at our on our website. And if there's other questions, I can follow up with you as well directly, Carol.
Great, thank you very much. If there no further questions, I would give you back your time. We have about 18 minutes of your time left. But thank you very much. I think that this has really been a very informative session. And we will obviously be back next month with further updates, especially as we're looking at some significant developments coming up with with arrivals, with the launch of the Multicultural Center, the launch of the Afghan Community Center. A lot is happening within the community, and so we will be back sharing with you more updates and progress that's being made. So thank you for being here and for your continuous support. And yes, Casey just said we will be sending out calendar invitations for next month, and I guess we're sharing the slides that we used today with everyone. So thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the day.